Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, he almost got laid. He was close, but no cigar. What we're going to talk about today is when to make your move. Because here's the bottom line. When you're on a date with a woman and she likes you, or maybe it's an ex-girlfriend that has now started coming back into your life because you've done what I've taught, there's an important thing to understand. There's a balance and knowing when to recognize when it's time to make the move and when it's time to back off. And this particular guy makes a lot of the same kind of mistakes that I used to make when I was learning this stuff. And I'd say partly the reason being is this fucking feminist movement that is so focused on trying to make men and women both the same. What it's doing is totally fucking destroying the polarity in the relationships. And so you got all the guys that watch all this crap on TV basically being taught to act like a bunch of fucking women and talk about their feelings and blah, 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 and always be worried about offending a woman. And so what happens is, women are going to go out on a date, and they're going to put themselves in a place, in a position to where you can seduce them. But if you don't know what to do, if you don't know when to make the move, they can tell, they can recognize this weakness or this hesitancy. And if you do that, then you're going to get stuck in friendship zone, and you're going to end up walking away from the situation with a case of blue balls. Because here's the bottom line. When it comes to sex, sex has to be the man's fault. That's right. Guys have to be the reason, especially because of the little slut alarm that women have, because they're always worried about, what their girlfriends are going to think, that kind of thing. And if she can say, well, it was your fault, he took his pants off when I was completely naked, and he's the one who put his dick inside me, well, it's all his fault. And that's basically, it has to be your fault, and you have to be the reason or the cause for the sex, even though she put herself in that position to seduce her. And so when I was learning this stuff, it was really hard for me to know when to go for it and when it was time to back off. And so a lot of times, or I'd be out on a date and I had a chance with a girl, I would just blow it. I would literally talk her right out of it. And I can look back and I remember every single time, every single date when I was on where I had the perfect opportunity, and I totally fucked it up because I was timid, I was weak, and I was unsure of myself. I didn't want to upset her. It was the nice guy approach. And I got an email here from a guy who originally emailed me, I guess a month or two ago, about an ex-girlfriend of his that had dumped him. And he wanted to know what to do to get her back. And so he started following my advice. He walked away and started focusing on applying what I taught in my book with other women. And so the ex-girlfriend started contacting him again, and he set up a date to get together. And so I guess at this point, she's not living in the same city. She lives about 3 hours away. And so he set up a date to basically drive there. She even told him to get a hotel room because he's initially offered to stay with friends. And so she was just basically saying, please fuck me. And so he went there and he spent the weekend with her, and he came back and he's all confused, doesn't know what to do. And the problem was she wanted to sleep with him. And he just totally fumbled the football. So let's jump into it. He says, hey Corey, it's James. I wrote you a few weeks ago. The article was called She's Constantly on My Mind. Well, she's back. First she moved to a neighboring state for school and started to contact me. So the most recent time she contacted me was at about 9:30 in the morning, and so to make a long story short, he texted back and he said, let's meet for dinner. And so he said, I told her I'd stay with relatives in the area, and I'll meet her when she was out of class. The next day, she suggested I get a hotel room, and she would stay with me. That means, you play your cards right, I'm going to fuck your brains out. She suggested the hotel room. She's trying to help you get laid. She's trying to hook up again. And apparently this girl has a boyfriend, or she lives with her boyfriend, or she's dating this other guy, something to that effect. So he says, so I get her, and I had her meet me at the hotel room. She came in, and I left the door cracked so she could walk in. So when she got there, I laid on the bed. I didn't get up to hug her. I'd say, fuck hugging. It's already you're thinking friendship, being the nice guy. And when she walked in, I would have said, why don't you get your cute little ass over here and kiss me? That's what I would have fucking said to her as soon as she walked in the door. I would have, hey, if the door, say I'm looking at the TV, right? And the door open, I look and I was like, hey, what's happening? How are you? Why don't you get your ass over here and kiss me? That's what I would have said to her. And she would have come over and kissed me. And then I would have pulled her over in the bed and started making out with her. And one thing would have led to another. And then 10 minutes later, we've been fucking each other's brains out. And then we would have gone out to dinner, had some good fun, had some good conversation, come back for some drinks, wine, maybe raid the mini bar, and fucked again. I mean, that's all you had to do. This girl served you up in a silver platter. She suggested getting a room, and she says, I will stay with you. It's like, oh. So, I mean, don't feel bad because I used to do the same shit. But the key is that you had a silver, I mean, she served herself up on a silver platter for you. So he said, all I did was say hi. She went to the bathroom, came out, and then I said, so are you going to give me a hug now? And it's like, a hug? Come on, dude. That's what a friend would do. If you want to be your lover, you got to do what her lover would do. So he says, we went to dinner, and she said that she would come visit me on her way back home after school was over. And I left it at that. Again, another sign from her. And I would say she was ready to fuck when she came to your hotel room, dude. I mean, she was the one that suggested it. It's like hint, hint, hint. So that's what we like to call a BFO, a blinding flash of the obvious. So we went out to a club, and before she started to drink, I asked her in the car, so you plan on giving me a kiss? I just want to know before you start drinking, so I would know if you did, how you felt sober about kissing me and not drinking. So she said, no, I don't plan on kissing you. And I would say, translation, in other words, what she's saying, if you got to ask, you ain't getting a fucking kiss because you don't know what to do. I mean, it turns her off because you're basically saying, can I please kiss you, your highness? Ooh, please love me, please like me. So we went to the club and she started dancing with me. She got up close to me, like making love close. She jumped in my arms and we were dancing like that. So I held my composure. I was like, dude, that was another opportunity. She's rubbing all over you. When a woman does that, it means touching is okay. It means reciprocate slowly. You should have just fucking grabbed her and started making out with her right there instead of fucking asking her permission. You're acting all weak and feminized, just like the feminist movement wants you to act like. He says, when we got back to the room, I told her I'm not going to live through this hell of not making love to you. I just can't be your friend. So it's, again, you're like seeking your approval. You're basically like looking for permission that it's okay to sleep together or to make a move on her. And a woman's not going to give you that shit. She wants you to just fucking go for it and risk getting rejected. I mean, she's staying with you in a hotel room. It means, please fuck me. So when we woke up, she told me that if we couldn't be friends, then how could we explore our relationship any further? That was a test. Women bluff to test your strength. And so she's basically, what she's feeling inside is you're being so fucking weak, but she's hoping that you'll be a man and fuck her. And so she says that to see how you react to it. And, let's see. She then told me she has feelings for me, but she didn't want to rush, basically. She said the reason she broke up with me because of my poor communication in the past. She said she didn't want to kiss me because she didn't want me to think it was more than it was. And translation is basically, you can't tell when it's time to make a move on me, so let's just not go there because you're just probably going to complicate things and make an awkward situation. And I don't want to feel awkward. So I'm just basically going to tell you that I'm not really interested right now. Because in other words, it's like, if you can't tell, then you're not going to get any. So when I was leaving to go back home, we sat and talked about when she moved closer to me this summer, how we were going to see each other. I told her, well, if I had someone worth coming to see, that the 3-hour trip would be worth it. I'm at your beck and call, your highness. Again, you're putting her on a pedestal. You're treating her like a fucking celebrity. So when I was leaving, she gave me a hug, how nice, and tried to kiss me. I pulled back by accident and I asked her, you were going to kiss me? It's like, dude, it's like, come on, man. Again, you're seeking her approval, asking permission. She smiled and played it off. So I attempted to kiss her, but I only got her cheek. I mean, you had blown it at that point. Again, she's smiling and acting playful. Before I drove off, she tells me, maybe next time. Translation, she's thinking, probably won't be a next time. I texted her to let her know that I made it home. And she texted me back by saying she was glad to see me and that she wanted to kiss me. Yeah, now that you're not around her. So, it's just like little dangling the carrot. She's hoping that you'll figure out and get it right. I mean, she's given you umpteen chances and you keep blowing it. So I told her it's always a pleasure to see you and that next time, don't hold back. I won't bite unless you want me to, LO. The next time I got back, the next text I got back from her basically said there would have been no feelings involved and that she can hold out till she got back home. And I would say, translation, I'm going to go fuck my boyfriend instead. So I said, well, he's a lucky man and that I won't interfere with what they got going on and that I am not interested in being a minute replacement. I mean, you drove all the way up there and got a hotel and you just walked away with blue balls, dude. It's just, what a shame. If you ever change your mind, my arms are wide open for you. She didn't text back. And I would say, well, you just basically fucking emotionally vomited all over her through the phone. My guess is she will text me in the next few days or so. And so I have no idea what this woman is up to. And I would say she wanted to fuck you, but you totally blew it by acting like a woman. I'm not affected like I would have been a few months ago after our breakup, but her mixed feelings are confusing. And I would say, well, stop acting like a woman and start acting like a man, and she'll stop acting flaky. First she contacts me, then puts me back as a friend on Facebook. She says she has feelings, but she wants to be friends. And I would say the translation is, I only have feelings of friendship for you now because you're basically treating me like a friend instead of my lover who comes to town and fucks my brains out behind my boyfriend's back. It's like she didn't want to jump back together because things would be the same, or I would bring the same BS back to the table. And I would say, yeah, you brought the same weak BS bullshit to the table, so nothing changed. She knows she wants me, but she's BSing. And I would say, you keep blowing it by acting weak, dude. I'm not going to sweat it, so do you have any take on this crap that she started? I don't want to contact her at all, or I don't contact her at all. I only reply to her text or answer when she calls. And I would say, let her phone calls go to voicemail and respond back. If she calls you after 7 p.m., text her back the next day. And if it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, text her back the next day. Because you got to be busy. I mean, you drove 3 hours, so the next time is like, hey, why don't you come see me? Why don't you come spend the weekend with me where I live? She'll either do it or she won't. I mean, you drove there once. I mean, she's got to meet you halfway by coming to see you this time. And if she's not willing to see you, hey, give me a call when you feel like coming to town and visiting. You shouldn't fucking waste your time, go out of town or any of that shit. If she really wants to see you, she can hop her ass in the car and drive to see you. And if she's not willing to do that, just say, hey, give me a call if you change your mind. And so what I would tell you to do, the best thing you should do in this situation is start dating other women. Read my book and start applying these techniques so you can get good with other women. And so you can go through the process of seduction with these other women so you can clean your fucking game up. Because, you know, especially with this ex-girlfriend, you act like a cold fish the whole time. And she put herself right there. I mean, she's not going to do everything for you. She wants you to be the man. I mean, after all, you are the one with the penis. She needs you to have a hard penis in order to penetrate her, right? And so she's not going to make the move. No woman's going to make the move. I'd say 99.9999% of women are not going to make the move. You have to do it yourself. Again, sex has to be your fault. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website. Click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the Wibia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 1 or 2 paragraphs maximum detailing your situation and your questions. And just give me several days to get back to you because I get a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. And I got to focus on their emails first, but be patient and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session with me personally by clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.